Where performance matters, you'll find Total Quartz.
Beautiful sunshine in Termas de Rio Hondo as the cars sit on the grid ready for round 16 of the 2014 FIA World Touring Car Championship. And Rob Huff is the man on the reverse pole in his Lada. Hugo Vallon sits alongside him, and Mehdi Benani and Gabriele Tarquini's Hondas line up third and fourth. Tom Chilton in his Chevrolet, and Thiago Monteiro in his Honda on row 3 of the grid, with Norbert Michels, who was second in race 1, 7th, ahead of the 3 Citroens. Sebastian Loeb 8th, Ivan Muller 9th, and our race 1 winner, Jose Maria Lopez, in 10th place. We're going to try and get a quick word with Sebastian Loeb, who looked fairly relaxed in the car earlier on, but we've seen that the Citroens, who have been able to carve their way through the field in reverse grids up until now, may be struggling for pace as we get into race 2. Not that there's anything wrong with the Citroens, it's just that everybody else has had a little bit of a chance to do some practice, and the Hondas and the Ladas have moved on. Here's Sebastian Loeb.
Sebastian, you are at the front of the 3 Citroens. What is your strategy?
My strategy is to push. In first race, I stayed in the contact with the 3 first, but it was difficult to go faster. So I will try again to push hard and try to be aggressive, and we will see.
And you will be defending?
For sure. I will try my best. It's never easy to stay in front of Pechito, but we will see.
Okay.
Somebody in his family's got a loop loom, haven't they? I'm not sure how fireproof those are, so let's hope he gets his gloves on properly. I don't think you'd want loop loom bands melted onto your wrist. Tom Coronel starts just behind them. He is 11th on the grid. René Munich in 12th. The 2 Chevrolets didn't really get the best performance out of their car. A couple of rows behind him, Gianni Morbidelli in 15th place. Morbidelli had a turbo, among other things, changed on the car after qualifying. His All-Inkle Chevrolet really didn't work at all. Tom Coronel, I'm saying now his wing looks a degree or 2 flatter. In fact, probably more like 4 or 5 degrees flatter than it was in race 1.
Yeah, I think you're right there. But interestingly, like you mentioned, Munich had a new turbo. So did Coronel. So I wonder if it's like a lifing issue. Perhaps it, you know,
yeah, Tom's something wrong with Tom's set fire to the back of the car. The exhaust set fire to the wrap on the rear of his car. Just after free practice 1, so they then changed the turbo as a result. But yeah, I'm sure they're lifed. They're fairly well, but turbos, as we know from racing, are subject to extraordinary stresses. And with all the will in the world, lifing doesn't always get rid of the vagaries of performance.
Also, with it being their first year, there will be things where they're a bit of a. It's a bit of a gamble, they'll have an idea as to how long it's going to last, but you can test these things on a bench, but it's not the same as real-life racing, and, this will be when you find out in the first year.
Well, and the other thing, of course, is, as you know from your own career as well, no matter how well something is lifed, occasionally they just go, and if it breaks after it's been fitted for half an hour, you can't go, well, 25 minutes is the life of the component. No, it's not. It's just a freak occurrence, and sometimes that does happen. Yeah. So Jose Maria Lopez, first on the grid, means you're 10th on the race 2 grid. He started on pole, won race 1. He starts in 10th. Ivan Muller in 9th. 8th place Sebastian Loeb. As we said, we heard him say to Alex Legui a couple of minutes ago, he will defend against his teammates, and well, he'll do that best by pushing forward, of course, because that's the best way not to have the argument about your teammates, is for them not to be able to catch you. Viz last week with Lewis Hamilton not being caught by Nico Rosberg. If he's never within DRS range, you're not going to have the argument about getting passed by him. So that's Loeb's target. He's got to get ahead. But what they've got to do is learn how to start that Citroen. We saw in race 1 when Norby damn near took the lead from 4th place on the grid. The Citroens are not getting away quickly.
It's strange because, like we've said before, that they do have this advantage on a lot of coming off the corner, putting the power down on experience that they've learned from World Rally. But I guess with World Rally they're normally starting on, obviously they do have tarmac start as well, but the start is less important in a rally stage. It's not as obvious if you're not starting as well. I'm sure they'll know exactly how the performances work anyway, but perhaps this just exacerbates the problem, because if you're 1% slower than the car behind you, you're going to see a huge difference by the time you get to the first corner.
Yeah, and there is something in their traction system and their launch control that is just controlling the launch too much. You almost want to get more manual control of it, don't you? It looks like it's sort of being taken away from the driver. It's got an anti-stall somewhere, which is override, and that's got to be a software issue. And I'm sure they've been very aware of it, and I'm sure they're hunting it like the devil. But it's still definitely a little bit of an Achilles heel, and whether they start in front or start behind, as you say, if you're slow away from the lights at a drag race, it takes a hell of a long time to catch up.
I'm amazed it's taking that long. It's been an issue from the start of the season, and with such a well-funded and huge budgeted team as Citroën, and they're chucking everything at this. Perhaps in the past they've not really needed it because it's always been a scrap between the three Citroëns, but now we've got the other cars coming back into the fight. Perhaps this is going to be something which they're going to have to start focusing on.
And especially when you've got Captain Traction Control himself here, Gabriele Tarquini, who launches us off a standing start better than anybody else in this championship, and has done for years. I was going to say decades there, but that's a little unfair. For the first decade of the championship, he is the demon starter. When he's in front of you and you've got a starting problem, then you really have got a starting problem. Gabriele starts 4th, Mehdi Binani starts 3rd. So we've got Hondas in 7th, 6th, 4th and 3rd. And with their renewed extra bit of performance, that's a very entertaining prospect. Not least for the guys who start on the front row of the grid, because if you've got quick Hondas behind you, that will hopefully block off the quick Citroëns. What you've got to then make sure is that you're in front of the quick Hondas as well, of course. So yeah, that's all part of the game. Starting at the front brings its own pressures, Harry.
It does, yeah. I mean, Volant obviously he was very happy with his P9 performance from qualifying, and it's got him on the front row of the grid here. So yeah, it does give you extra pressure, but then, as you say, Martin, you've got the Hondas there as a bit of a cushion, and hopefully for him, he'll be able to get away and scamper off a little bit. And the gap that you can try and build by the time the Citroëns get through all the other guys, then that can be enough. It only has to be a couple of seconds, and that's the difference between being able to hold on to the finish to win the race, or come second, or wherever,
Rob Huff, a winner last weekend at Silverstone in a super touring Ford Mondeo. Can he translate that historic talent into a modern day win for Lada? It would be a first if he could.
Performance matters. You'll find Total Quartz.
Rob Huff leads the field round in Argentina, heading to pole position for Lada. This might be a good opportunity to drop in and have a word with the British driver.
So in front of the grid, race 2 start. Bit of unfamiliar territory, certainly for the past 18 months or so, but I'm sure the commentators have told you that. Very good race 1, I have to say. The car was quick, did a fastest lap towards the end of the race, was happy with that. Balance was good. Got a new set of brakes on the car for race 2, and as you can see, working hard, just warming everything up. Very slippery, the track, very slippery indeed, very easy to make a mistake, and you've got to be careful of that the first few laps. I think it's pretty obvious we haven't got the overall pace that the other cars have got, but we've managed to muscle our way up and found ourselves on pole position, so we'll try and make the most of it. I think the back straight is where we're going to struggle the most. Certainly been down on top speed most of the weekend compared to the other cars, but I think the rest of the lap we can just about hold our own. So fingers crossed, wish me luck.
Good luck, Huffy. Well, everybody sitting back home on the sofa will be, I can just see you perched on the edge. Settle back a little bit. There's Viktor Shapovalov. This could be a remarkable day. If Rob Huff can pull off a victory here in Argentina, it will be a first for Lada in the World Touring Car Championship.
If Rob can get a good start and get away from the other guys, and then it means on that first straight, if he's got enough of a gap so they can't attack him on the first lap, by the time he gets into twisty stuff, it might just give him that cushion that he's got then for the next time they hit the straight, that he's got enough that they're not able to attack him then either. So
absolutely right.
For that.
The one thing he cannot afford is a safety car, because then they will all be ramped up behind him. We had no safety cars in race 1. We had no safety cars last year, as far as I can recall. So Rob Huff from the yellow car of Hugo Vallant, then Mehdi Benani with more red on the roof of his red, white and green Honda, and then the danger man, Gabriele Tarquini. Behind him, Tom Chilton, white with black, and Tiago Montero, 6 on the grid. Final cars coming into position, John Philippi and Camilo Echevarria. Camilo Echevarria, the last car on the grid, the Liquimoli BMW. Here we go, ready for round 16 of the World Touring Car Championship. Termos de Rio Hondo, Larder of Rob Huff on pole position. He has got to get a good getaway, and he does. Good start. And behind, Gabriele Tarquini threatens Hugo Vallant, and Mehdi Benani is alongside Vallant. And that's exactly what Huff needed. A little bit of banging and barging, a little bit of argy-bargy into the first corner. The Larder's in front of Benani. Tarquini goes through. Montero follows him. And the Chevy is on the outside. Vallant is down to 5th position. And Benani is a couple of car lengths behind Rob Huff as they go into turn 2 and then right-handed through 3 and 4, Harry. 3 wide behind Citroens and Chevys, and it could all get a little bit messy in there. They've tried to get by Tom Coronel. And Mikulic's out very wide, but Huff has got just about enough lead onto the straight. Benani, then Tarquini, then Montero, then the yellow car Vallant, and that is Lopez already, is it? No, it's Muller up behind Tom Chilton, looking for 7th place as around the outside goes Sebastian Loeb. And Muller is going to ease him right out onto the dirt and onto the grass and into the gravel trap. And Muller, his own mistake there, allows Pachito Lopez to catch right up on him. Loeb is out the back door, but Lopez is now behind Mikulic and looking to make it 3 wide on the inside. And Lopez is going to come out of this smelling of roses. And that was Muller forcing off Loeb. Went too wide, that allowed that to happen.
It did, but at the very start, on the actual start line, Loeb did exactly that to Lopez, and he had Lopez on the grass off the line.
Wow. And Lopez is the first Citroen. Loeb almost shoved his way past Muller there. Somehow Ivan held on. Dusan Borkovic in front of René Munich. That's 11th and 12th. But Ivan Muller was up into 7th place nearly, and then dropped. It was in 7th place, has now dropped down to 10th. The architect of his own misfortune there, further back. Gianni Morbidelli, well, that's a classic Morbidelli punt into James Thompson.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
Yeah. Old-fashioned racing driver, he says, and Tom Coronel way back there, struggling to even get onto terms with the Larders. Morbidelli shunted his way through. Rob Huff leads, incidentally, fastest race lap from him, a 1:49.1.
6/10 faster than anybody else. That's a great first lap.
Well, it's been a while since, it's not been that much of a while since Rob Huff has won. He won, of course, again in Macau in November. Where are we now? August. Oh, right, it's 9 months, 10 months nearly. So it has been a while, but he is eased away from Benani and Tarquini and Montero. So Honda's 2, 3, 4, then Vallant and Chilton, the black and white car, and then Lopez in 7th place. Lopez looks inside, Chilton goes deep in defence, and that's going to cost him, Harry, because Lopez is right alongside.
He is, and Lopez is going to, he's dropping back. He can't hold it. Vallante's on the outside though.
Yeah, no, Vallant was in front, ran wide onto the dirt. Chilton's trying to go one way. Lopez is going to go 3 wide again, the same place. This time he's the man on the outside, but look at the grip he's got. He just drives around the outside of both of them. This time though, can't hold on to it, got onto the loose, and a little bit of a lock-up. Chilton picks up the place. Vallant loses 1. Lopez no net gain on that lap. Wow. Well, race 1 may have been a little bit follow my leader. Race 2, anything but. This the battle for 5th place, and Lopez, what a great run he's got going there onto the straight.
You can see the dominance of that Citroen though. They're so quick and they can hold such a tight line, and they're not as hustled through the corners as the other cars.
Yep. And right behind Vallant is Muller into the final couple of corners. Well, there's barely a straight there worthy of the name, but Lopez used it anyway. Now he's shaping up against Chilton. Come on, Tom, hold him off. Hugo Vallant holding off Ivan Muller as well, but not for long. Vallant drifts out wide, lots more understeering again. Like the Chevys always used to do, the Citroens turn inside anybody and still get the power down. Normally, Harry, you can either turn in tighter or get the power down earlier. You need a really good chassis to do both.
Yeah, you're right, and that's exactly what we're seeing from the Citroen here. This is helping Rob as well. Rob's had another lap where he was 6 tenths faster than Benani, but interestingly, Montero and Tarquini are both catching Benani.
Yep.
So that could just be the cushion that Rob needs to scamper off and get enough of a gap here.
Well, you know what it's like when you're on the motorway. If cars are individually spaced, you can sort of, or on a country road, you can sort of loop by them. If they're all in a line, nose to tail, it's much harder to get by and find somewhere to get in. And that's what Rob needs. He needs Bernani, Tarquini, Montero, Chilton, all to be as a solid lump in front of Lopez and Muller and Loeb when they arrive. And that gives him another lap or two to escape. Loeb looking back at Valente, as he is now up into 7th place. He was 10th at the start of the lap. Tom Chilton, car number 3, the white and black Capsicum Chevrolet. 5th position, just in front of Jose Maria Lopez. Now, much as it would be a great story for Lopez to win both races here in Argentina, I hope that he doesn't, because it would be an even greater story for Lada to claim their first win in the championship battle. In front for 3rd. And is that Montero going by Tarquini? It was.
Yeah.
So Thiago again showing he's got the speed, he's got the confidence in the car, he's got it all going for him. I think Tarquini, in fact, got him back.
Yeah, he did. He must have done.
Yes, he did. So Thiago had a lunge up the inside and Gabrielli fought him back off. Meanwhile, behind, Borkovic, Morbidelli, yellow car Valente, and then Rennie Munich in front of James Thompson.
Here we go. Look in the background how far Lopez is on the grass from Loeb.
Fully on the grass. And Rob Huff gets into the first corner in front, covers off Mehdi Bernani, and Valente there just sort of holding everybody else up. He didn't get the greatest start, Hugo Valente, in that yellow and white Chevy.
Yeah, he got a bit of a rum start, it'd be fair to say, and then got held out to dry around the outside here, and yeah, it's just not gone well from that opening lap.
Yep, Thiago shuffling up the inside, right behind Gabriele Tarquini. Oh, and that's Tom Coronel was getting eased off. That's where he dropped right down the order. He's down in 16th, incidentally. And, yeah. OK, Gianni, explain that to the stewards. I'm not seeing how that was a good move, either way.
No, it was either clumsy or intentional, so...
Intentionally clumsy, yeah. Well, I'm not sure he'd intentionally tub him out the way, but it was a very random move indeed. Jose Maria Lopez, 37, still trying to get around Tom Chilton, and this is really good news for Rob Hoff. Every corner that his family holds their breath as Lopez tries to get around Tom Chilton is another corner that Rob Huff doesn't have to worry about. This is going to be an interminable 13 laps. What's he going to do in the lead of this race? He's just over a second in front of Bernani, and he's just, it's almost waiting for the hammer to fall, isn't it?
Tarquini looks like he's getting a bit racy with Bernani.
Yeah.
This is quite an interesting situation you've got now, because Bernani's technically an independent against the works cars, but will he let them go through? I don't think he will. He certainly doesn't look like he's going to do it.
Defends deep. Tarquini's going to cut underneath, and Morbidelli. Montero's going to try and follow through. Gabrielli's gone through. Montero's trying to go through now. This opens the goal for Jose Maria Lopez, because if they all fall over each other, suddenly he gets 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 places. Tom Chilton goes inside Bernani, so suddenly Bernani's been shuffled down 3 places in the pack, and Lopez down the straight with the afterburners lit comes right by like before. Chilton and Bernani towing each other, can't even match the Citroen for pace. Look at the speed.
Wild. That's almost a difference to seeing British touring cars when someone's got the boost crank right there. I mean, that's mental how much more power it's got. And
Muller's almost picked them off as well. He got by Bernani, sort of, and Chilton only because he had the tight 180-degree right-hander and could stay inside, keeps just in front of Ivan Muller. And of course, for Lopez, every car between him and Muller is a good news story. But Lopez is now up to 4th position. It's Huff, Tarquini, Montero, Lopez. Chilton in 5th, looking back at Muller in 6th. Don't forget, Muller started 9th, Lopez 10th. Sebastian Loeb, who started in 8th place, is down to 9th at the moment and struggling in his car. He's in that queue at the back of it.
Huff's seen that going on behind him, and he's just put his fastest personal lap in of the race there, so he knows he's got to press on. He'll have seen Tarquini come through, and he knows it. You know, it's game on now.
He will be taking the whip to that car like never before. He will be flogging that Lada Granta Sports to within an inch of its life. 2.2 in front of Tarquini. Tarquini and Montero must not fight each other.
That was 4 tenths faster though. Huff was 4 tenths faster than Tarquini on that lap, so that's still encouraging news.
But still, these two Hondas could both be on the podium as long as they don't fight.
Yeah.
Gabrielli needs to just be clean and perfect and allow Thiago just enough room to do the same. And Hugo Valente is out. Whatever ailed him after qualifying still ails him. And here comes Lopez. He's got the inside groove and he just pulls past. And that is just insane. Montero can't do anything about it. Lopez has gone by one Honda. He's now up into 3rd position.
That's got to be heartbreaking for Tarquini there. So Montero just sat there watching that just drive past you in a straight line.
And it's only lap 6. It's like when you know you've got the slowest kart on the indoor karting, you're just waiting for them to all come by you. And here comes Ivan Muller inside Tom Chilton. This time he's got the position he needs. He drives around the inside, and Tom's not going to be able to hang on outside there to fight back on the next corner, or is he? Yes, he is. Shades of Shanghai last year when they were both in the RML Chevy team. Oh, and Lopez is all over the back of Tarquini, and Tarquini either rode the curbs roughly or got a nudge, and Chilton and Muller are still at it. Great racing from Tom Chilton and Ivan Muller, wheel to wheel through now 5, 6 different corners, and still the Frenchman has not got by. And Thiago Montero right up behind Jose Maria Lopez still might look to try and come back at him. No, Lopez has got by Tarquini in that last couple of corners.
This is the dangerous bit now, isn't it? I mean,
look at this, there's the Lopez family and fans. He's clear, and Chilton is still holding off Muller.
That Citroen's just going to scorch up to the back of Rob now, but
yeah.
As Murray Walker once famously said, it's with one thing catching and a totally other thing overtaking.
Yeah, so. Not when you're in a McLaren Honda.
The speed on the straight is
in the 13 out of 14 race season, the speed on the straight is just insane. This is how it happened. Look, turns in inside Tarquini, who can't hold the line tight. Through he goes.
Morbidelli drive-through penalty for that incident early on.
Yeah. Not a surprise at all. It was a very random piece of driving. Rob Huff still our race leader. And Thiago Montero attacking Gabriele Tarquini as Ivan Muller tries to go around the outside of Tom Chilton. Was there contact? There wasn't. But Ivan Muller is running out of tyres. Why is Jose Maria Lopez not running out of tyres? Loeb is working his way through though. Sebastian Loeb just picked up 2 places because he got by Mehdi Benani and Norbert Mikulits.
This is a fantastic swap between Chilton and Muller. They've just, they've been side by side for over a lap now and barely touched each other.
Lap and a half of wheel-to-wheel racing, no quarter given, none asked, and you can see that Muller has no real advantage over Chilton. It comes and it goes, and he can't get by, and he can't make it stick, and he can't escape. Maybe now he's in front, it will, but for a lap and a half, that's a long time to spend, given how Lopez is just breezed by everybody in a straight line. Not sure what Jose Maria Lopez engineers are having for breakfast, but it's making a big difference to his car. He's just set the fastest first sector and the fastest lap of the race for Lopez. A 1:45.9 to Huff's 1:47.2. The gap has come down from 2.5 to 1.1 seconds. Lopez could win this at a canter.
Yeah, unfortunately I think it's inevitable, isn't it? There's no way Rob's going to be able to fend that off.
The only thing that I would say at the moment is that there is almost nobody in the top 6 that is going as quick as Rob Huff, the race leader. Gianni Morbidelli serves his drive-through, and unfortunately he's already ruined James Thompson's race by thumping him sideways. So he pays the penalty for that. Huff leads onto the back straight, and from there Lopez could be in front into corner 5. He's closing on Huffy.
Oh, it's such a shame. I thought we were going to see a bit of a giant killing out going on there.
It's all but inevitable, but that's where he's most likely to pass. And the final corner, 13 and 14, that hairpin right-left section, that's the next bit. But Rob Huff didn't accidentally win a world championship, and Loeb and Chilton get into contact in a way that Muller and Chilton didn't. Muller's perhaps got a little bit more, well, no perhaps about it, a lot more racing finesse than Sebastian Loeb. Maybe Tom Chilton's tyres just ran out. We can't really apportion blame. We only saw the end, not the beginning of that. Borkovic and Benani, they've been wheel to wheel for a lap already. So all right, Loeb got by both of them, but here is the battle for the lead. Huff out of turn 6.
A big wide circuit like this with lots of changes of direction, you can give each other room and not have to hit each other like that. But it does create some great racing, and it's a little bit different to a lot of circuits that we see on the calendar, but more of it, please.
Well, Lopez is sitting right behind, isn't he, down into the final couple of corners. That wasn't corner 6, that was corner 11 they were coming out of. Onto the start-finish line, it was 1.1. It's down to 0.369 of a second. That's a car length in English.
I don't think Rob's going to be able to hold him up in the middle of the corners. It's just that straight where we've seen that car just take off like a robber's dog. You know, it drove past the Citroens, sorry, the Chevrolets and the Hondas, and we already know the Lada's slow in a straight line. So unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be much anywhere really that Rob can put that car to stop him driving past.
On board with Jose Maria Lopez, the Lada gets off onto the throttle first, but onto the straight we go, and this is where Lopez is in happy hunting grounds. Just look at the speed differential. Nothing Rob Huff could possibly do about that, and that's going to be gutting, but he is going to be on the podium unless something goes bang on the Lada, and I don't think he's giving up yet either. The Lada's got a small, nimble chassis in the twisty stuff. As the crowd celebrate Lopez going through, I think Rob Huff is still going to give him a tough time, but look at that. Lopez has opened up nearly half a second already in a couple of corners.
I think that was Rob accepting best. You know, you've got to pick your fight sometimes, and he knew that that was inevitable. There's no point getting caught up in an incident which you don't need to be in. Still, let's be realistic. That's a fantastic result for a Lada to come second, and it's just a shame that it's another Citroen win with such ease and such dominance. Really, and it would have been nice to see Rob win this.
Well, we're seeing the end there of Loeb versus Chilton. You can see either that Tom was going around the outside or Loeb was coming up the inside, but either way, Sebastian gave him no room to survive.
Sebastian's quite aggressive, isn't he? I think we've seen quite a lot of this throughout the year so far. He doesn't mind a shunt.
No. Well, it's all those years of rallying where he wasn't allowed to hit anybody. No, and definitely you don't want to hit the trees. So, now, things that are a little bit more frangible around him, and that's unfortunately put paid to Tom Chilton's race.
I think it's like we saw with Valent's car before in race 1, that you could just see all like the rubbish just collecting up in the front there. It'll just be overheating.
Well, and also, contact, that sideways slap, that can often produce a broken steering arm or something. So Ivan Muller still struggling to match the pace of Lopez. Lopez last lap, 1:46.6. Muller, timing screen's just died. Muller, 1:47.1, half a second slower. All right, he's behind the Hondas, but hang on a minute. This is the straight where Lopez just breezes by. Here comes Ivan up behind Thiago. And he's got a slipstream off both Hondas, but it's not the same. He can't make it go by the same way that Lopez does. Why has he not got the straight line speed that Lopez has?
He still pulled in a lot, but like you say, it didn't look like the rocket ship that Lopez had off the corner.
Lopez comes from half a second back to half a second in front. Ivan can only just close up the half a second. Maybe Lopez has got a 2-litre turbo this weekend. Ivan Muller on the inside of Thiago Montero. Thiago's got the inside for the final corner. Muller's not getting by this time. Well, not the final corner, but over the crest.
Yeah, look at the grip that the Citroen has there. He just goes around the outside if he wants.
Yeah.
It is exactly like you said with the Chevy. We saw that last year. It could just take a tighter line, or it could go around the outside of people, and it could seem to brake later and still get to the apex, which, these Citroens seem to have a very similar kind of body language about them.
The thing that amuses me is that sometimes the Citroen mechanics seem a little bit surprised the car has gone by. Hello, what, have you not been watching any of the other races? Lopez leads from half by 1.8 seconds. And this is why a lap ago he came breezing by on the straight. Rob Huff not doing anything silly, because at this stage of the season every podium is worth its weight in gold. And actually, do you know what? With a couple of good improvements, Huff could win in Macau again. He seems to have a very special relationship with that street circuit.
Yeah, the car could lend itself very well to Macau as well. A short wheelbase and quite a small little car. We saw that with the Lassetti when the Lassetti was there. That was a mega car on Macau.
Well, Jose Maria Lopez then leading this race. He's already won 2 of the 3 races he's ever started at this track in the World Touring Car Championship. He is now on the way to making it 3 of 4. And you're looking here at Serbia's Dusan Borkovic with Mehdi Banani in the Honda, and the red Lada of James Thompson in 10th place, looking to get by Banani. Again, very encouraging weekend for the Lada drivers. They're able to fight wheel to wheel with the Hondas and predominantly with the Citroens, and really it's only Lopez that's been able to just blow them away easily.
Yeah, and we know there's some more upgrades coming for that car for the next round, so that'll be very interesting to see how they progress it. And we know that one of the main things that they found for this weekend is just being able to get the car to minimum weight, where in the past it's not actually been achievable to get the car to its base weight. So that's a big advantage, because all season so far they've been running around with effectively success ballast, which they didn't need to carry.
Yes, absolutely right. Of course, now the flip side of that coin is that their speed improves, and so they start to have to carry a little bit more weight. But the Lada boys will be in the mood for a bit of a party, I think, in Rio Hondo tonight, if Rob Huff can hold this together on the final 2 laps to take a podium. Not the win that even in their wildest dreams nobody on the flight over here would have thought might come Lada's way. But you're right, the word that we're hearing is that there's a very good chance next year that the Lada Sport team will start to use some of the facilities at Magny-Cours that they've not been using so far, i.e. team up with Hugues de Chonac's Orica squad, and that could be a real game changer. That could really move the Russian team forward, because of course when Ivar Muller won championships for Seat, he was engineered and run by Hugues de Chonac's team. Sure, they were Seat Sport built cars, but it was Orica that won the title with Ivar Muller and not the factory Seat Sport team. So they know what they're doing in motor racing, and they've got a lot of facilities that the Lada team could definitely benefit from. And then we might not be looking at Lada on reverse poles, we might be looking at Lada challenging for a genuine top 5 pole into 2015. Absolutely. And that would be a major step forward. And
they're bringing the new chassis, the new floor pan out as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them starting to develop that fairly early on. And we know that the Orica Seat, like you said, it wasn't the factory Seat car, but they did a lot of their own development to that car, so there's a big difference between those Seats, even though they looked exactly the same. Yeah. You know, the aero on the outside was all the same, but lots of little subtle tweaks were made, which Orica did, and you know, there's no doubt about it, they're a top-notch team.
One thing you can say about the Orica component in the Lada at the moment, which is the engine, is that there's nothing wrong with that. That is going pretty nicely, thank you very much. Rob Huff still in second place, and Gabriele Tarquini with his Mugen Honda engine not able to catch him. Third place Ivar Muller, not sure if he's going to catch him either. Muller's just set his own personal best second sector of the race. He's done a 1:47.4. Rob Huff's last lap a 1:48.1, so 7/10 quicker, but Ivan is still 2.1 seconds behind on the last lap. Yeah. So Rob Huff is pretty much nailed on to second place here. Jose Maria Lopez gets onto the back straight for the final time. Of course, a big cloud of smoke from that wouldn't disappoint the Lada mechanics in any way.
I don't think so.
But I don't think it's going to happen. One thing Citroen has got is plenty of reliability. But again, look at Norbert Michelisz right up behind Sebastian Loeb. Might be a last lap lunging prospect here. Tarquini, Montero, Loeb, Michelisz. That is the battle for fourth. It's going to be Lopez leading to the line, Huff in second, and Muller in third. So Lopez and Muller back on the podium. And again, between them, another car. So that's another 10-point gain for Jose Maria Lopez. He came here 37 points adrift after qualifying 40 points in front. After race 1, 50 points in front of Ivar Muller. And after race 2, with back-to-back wins at home, he will be 60 points in front of his closest championship rival, the four-time world champion Ivar Muller. Rob Huff is going to take second place. I'm going to put money on that now. Ivar Muller is not going to get close. Into the final corners come Jose Maria Lopez, and Rob Huff is just in front of Ivar Muller. The flag flies. Lopez is a double race winner in Argentina. 3 wins in 4 races here. Rob Huff, second place. Congratulations to him and to all the Lada boys. Svetlana already tweeting the result. Well done.
That was a great result. You could see Rob as he went across the line celebrating like that was a race win, and yeah, you know, he certainly had a drive for that. And
yeah,
just you know, again, great drive by Lopez, and everything fell his way as we've seen. And you know, it's a little bit like watching Ivan last year, you know, where he almost couldn't do anything wrong, and all of his rivals kind of drop off around him, and you know, it's just right place, right time, and that's what it takes. But yeah, great effort from the Lada boys, and fantastic drive from Rob, and it's a shame to see Citroen domination yet again.
Yeah, well, Jose Maria Lopez, as nobody can say that he's not going to be a deserving champion if he wins the title. And if Van Muller somehow overhauls him, holy cow, that's going to be an epic end to the season. Rob Huff, well, we thought he was happy yesterday with 10th place and the race to pole. Look how thrilled he is with a first podium for him and Lada.
Where performance matters, you'll find Total Quartz.
Jose Maria Lopez, our double race winner here at Termas de Rio Hondo, comes into Parc Fermé, and the Union flag and the red shirts are down there for the Lada Sport team and for Rob Huff, who finishes second. Van Muller in third place loses a further 10 points to his championship leading teammate. So Lopez, who came here, 37 points in front, leaves 60 points in front. And if you think the Argentines are going to have headaches in the morning, I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, a group of Russians in the very early stages of a major hangover.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a bit of a vodka blowout in Argentina, I would imagine.
Big steak, all round, plenty of beer, and then the secret vodkas are coming out. And do you know what? I wouldn't mind betting that this man will be celebrating with them as well. He's that kind of a guy. Jose Maria Lopez, he has had 4 World Touring Car races in Argentina. It's the only place he's raced before, of course, in the championship. It was a one-off race last year. He's won 3 of them. He has got to have the best home race record of any World Touring Car driver.
Yeah, I think in percentage terms you're probably absolutely
in percentage,
right, 75%.
in terms of total wins, I can't imagine that Gabriele Tarquini has won more than 3 times in Monza, for instance. Thiago certainly hasn't in Portugal. So yeah, just 3 wins in Argentina already, and a 60-point championship lead. Pole, 2 race wins. The only thing that could possibly have gone better is if he'd got married and his first child had been born this weekend as well. Maybe that might have to wait until next year, who knows?
Yeah, you never know, maybe.
Look at him, he is just overcome with the emotion of it as well. Well, we'll let him talk to his boys. Let's hear first from Rob Huff.
A happy time for Huffy. Well done, second place.
Unbelievable. I mean, you can see the boys and girls, they're so happy. It's amazing, you know.
We had our stomachs in our mouths in the wigwam.
You're not the only one. It was hard. Had to put everything I've ever learnt into that race, not make a mistake. And I could see the Titchens coming, but when they're coming past you in a straight line, there's just no point. So second was magic for us this weekend, and yeah, I hope it's good things to come.
What was it like when you can see him in the wing mirror coming up behind?
Yeah, it's like 2 different classes, to be honest with you. It's like he's, you know, it's just ridiculous. But we're not worried about that. We're worried about we've got a podium. You know, we've got that magic podium. It's knocked me out. I don't know.
Happy days.
But, yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well done to everyone. Thanks to the Lada Sport. Look, all guys, magic.
We are really happy for you. Well done, Rob.
We are indeed. Congratulations. And Harry, just saying during the break, it's got a long straight, it's wide open, it's everything that shouldn't work for the Lada team, and yet they've managed to produce their first ever World Touring Car result here. That is a concrete confirmation that they have made a step forward with the car already, and hopefully the new changes will make more steps forward for them as well. First ever podium. That's got to be a real game changer for them. Now they know they can do it.
Yeah, and once they've tasted that champagne, then it makes them hungry for more. And like Rob said there, you can see there's a total class difference between the cars there. But you can see the maturity of Rob there. He deliberately let him go, and you know there's no point holding himself up. So we've got Lopez.
Yep, let's hear from our winner.
Well, he carved his way through the pack to take his second win, a clean sweep here. Pachito Lopez, congratulations.
Sorry, I don't feel very good. So much pressure, so much give in the race. Thank you, Citroën. This is not possible without them. And the people, the support of the team, the people is very important. Everybody was pushing the car. Thank you very much, it's so great. I never imagined this. I never imagined this year. I can't believe this is happening to me, actually. So many up and downs in my career, and this is unbelievable. Thank you, thank you.
Now you can relax and party.
Yeah, I'm trying to recover, thank you.
Well done, Pachito.
Sorry, I would like to answer more, but I can't.
Do you know what? That's all you need to know. He is just absolutely wrung out, and rightly so, because that was an epic job that he's produced.
Yeah.
And there is Citroen's PR girl, as always, getting between the driver and the media.
He's always very, very dignified with his responses, and you know, you wouldn't want it to take anything away from him. He drove fantastically there. He got, you know, he was well on the grass at the start there from his teammate. He was down to the third of all of their Citroens, and he's fought his way back from there. And as well, credit for Citroen, you know, they have developed a fantastic car. There's no doubting about that. And you know, it has to be the best driver. It has to have the best car, and that's what we're seeing there, really.
Oh, it's the whole deal, you know. And he has come in as the surprise package this season. We weren't expecting Citroen to be slow, but Jose Maria Lopez is just producing, as he said, so many ups and downs in his career. You know, he's been a champion in single-seater racing. He's had highs, he's had lows. He was associated with the stillborn USF1 project, and that must have been a real knockback when that never happened. Come back to win touring car championships in Argentina, and he is looking every inch the world touring car champion for 2014. He won't be counting his chickens before they hatch. We're only 16 of our 24 races down. There's a lot of racing to go still, but Jose Maria Lopez is just producing a goods time after time. And as you say, shunted onto the grass at the start, still comes through from 10th on the grid to win race 2. He is absolutely wrung out.
He's keep digging deeper as well. That's the sign of a true champion, isn't it? He keeps going for more. He's not just resting on his laurels and saying, yeah, you know what, I've won enough now. All I need to do is kind of, you know, keep finishing on the podium. He's going out there and digging for everything and still going for the wins.
Well, I don't know what he knew about the World Touring Car Championship before he got involved with it, but we know, Harry, don't we, that it's never over before Macau. And there's a lot of racing before we even get to start Macau, never mind finish it. The banquet is not to be thought about yet. There's a lot to be done. John Phillippe's Seat comes in on the end of a tow rope. Rather slack tow rope. He's going to run over it in a second. However, Jose Maria Lopez now 60 points in front of Ivan Muller. But one torrid weekend could drop him back 50. Yeah. And that's the difference. It's not done by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and the last person you want chasing you is Ivan Muller in the same kit, you know, of all people. Ivan Muller, Rob Huff, they're probably the two last people who, if you were in a team, you wouldn't want them as your teammates, because they're the two guys that can come back at you, and you know, it's never over. We've seen both of them come back from what looked like a beaten state, and